Yo, guys, what's up here? First time here trying out the podcast, and most people, if you know me as DJ Fat Dog. Everybody sees if you know me, you've seen the videos, you've seen the mixes, seen me on social media. You may have even heard some of my stuff and didn't know it was me. What most people don't know is my background and my story. Grew up, showing Brahman cows on a ranch. I've taught high school agriculture. I've managed sports fields at a university level. I've even obtained my master's degree. And then somehow ended up building this incredible platform on TikTok and taking a step further here and try this podcast thing out. So today, for the first podcast, I want to tell you the story behind DJ Fat Dog, me as a person. First of all, welcome to the podcast here. Doesn't really have a name yet. I'm sure that'll come. This podcast is going to be a little bit about everything: life, faith, music, chasing dreams, country music, interviews, and whatever else we end up finding ourselves in, whatever kind of situation presents itself along the way. If it's your first time seeing me, what's up, guys? I'm Randy Rogers, online known as DJ Fat Dog. So, first starting out, I grew up on a ranch. The ranch's name was Fat Dog Cattle, and it's been a family name. And so once I got to start DJing, and I was like, I gotta come up with a name. Fat Dog it was. We've even had Fat Dog beverages to Fat Dog Cattle, and then started DJing and said, yeah, I gotta be DJ Fat Dog, and it just made the most sense. So yeah, growing up on a ranch, we grew up showing cows as a family, Brahman cows specifically, and it was kind of the same way as when I started DJing. We went to the state fair, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that, and my dad's like, all right. So we went down to the V8 ranch and picked up our first show cows. We had Lucy, which was mine. My sister always had crazy names for hers. It was Carmelita, and that journey taught me a lot. I'd originally thought I was gonna be doing cows the rest of my life, maybe running a ranch, and life took turns. I went to Tarleton State, got my bachelor's degree there, and taught high school agriculture for 4 years. Kind of moved around. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be for me. So then after that, I picked up a job at Texas Women's University. I had a minor in horticulture as well, and I was the supervisor of landscape there. While I was there, they came out with the tuition assistance program, and decided, hey, you know what? Why not? Let's get my master's. So, growing up, going through school, I didn't like school. I was, and still am, obviously, dyslexic, and I was like, I don't know. In my mind, I was like, I'm either want to go in administration, be principal, superintendent one day of an ISD, or the other option was diagnostician. So I went that route. So I got my master's to be an educational diagnostician. So if you don't know, that's diagnosing students with learning disabilities, things of that nature, writing those IEPs, making sure they have the best opportunity to learn how everyone else was, and give them the same opportunity that all the other students had. And then why I started making mixes is I used to work out quite a bit. Then I got injured, and I actually made the Camp Gladiator finals, and I was injured. I was like, I think I can do this music thing. So me and my wife were riding in the car, and I was like, I think I can DJ. And so when it came Christmas time, I was like, I want this DJ board. He's like, you got any other ideas? I was like, nah, that's it. So I guess that was, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years ago, and I just picked up the board, and I played around with it for a little bit, just like anything else. I put it down, and then really just like in the past 2.5 years, I picked it up, and I was just like, I just taught myself. There's no classes, no anything. I only YouTubed it to learn how to hook it up and record the sound, and and here we are. Obviously then there was a turning point. I was actually a lot of things funny enough, happen when you're on the toilet. And I told my wife, I was like, yeah, one of my mix is gonna go viral, and I was just kind of just like, just kind of joking, I'm gonna go viral. And opened up my phone one morning, and I was like, what has happened? And the Better Man Better Off remix kind of took off, and East Rich, the rapper that had the beat and the rap that I mixed in there, he had like reposted. I was like, what is happening? And then I made another mix, and then it just kind of snowballed effect. And like I would open my phone, and every time the notifications would just be maxed out, and it was crazy. And I was like, I don't even know what's going on. I remember my dad coming and getting me. We went and ate lunch. He was like, yeah, I just figured we'd go grab a bite to eat, before you become too big and too famous. And there was crazy stories. Like I was at a chiropractor, and I'm telling the chiropractor about what's going on. Here, they have the ceilings in there. They're just walls, right? And there's not like a ceiling. And I was I was sitting there, getting adjusted, and I hear from the room over, yo, are you DJ Fat Dog? I was like, yeah. He's like, I listen to your stuff all the time. So just crazy stuff like that happened. Like I recognized an HEB one time, and not even here, kind of where I'm from. It was more like down in South Texas, which was wild. And that was the first person who was like, can I get a picture with you? And I was like, this is interesting. So that was kind of the turning point. So yeah, that Better Man Better Off remix kind of took off, and then the Summertime Blues with Snap Your Fingers, that one really took off too. And then there was Hicktown with Pretty Boy Swag, and all those were kind of around the same time, and they just went wild. Went absolutely bonkers. I didn't know what was going on, and I couldn't quite comprehend all the follows and everything that was coming along with it. It was interesting. But yeah, to speak to everyone's like, what was it like seeing like thousands? It was thousands of views and things like that. It was like I didn't even have time to like process. It was just like, well, this is crazy. Every time you open your phone, you have all these views and all these. I was like, this is wild, and like so many messages from other creators, and hey, will you sell my product? Will you? I was like, whoa, this is wild. It just kind of started this. A lot of people like, were you trying to? No, I wasn't trying to grow. I didn't think it would ever turn into this. I was honestly, I just started mixing music and recording it because it was an escape for me, and it really helped me show off my skills to myself. It made me feel better. And there's always been songs I'm like, man, I think I could put those together at some point in time, and then I got to where I could actually do it, and I was like, whoa, this is wild. And still to this day, like I get excited when I'm like, I think this is a good one. Take it downstairs, turn on the Turtle Box, and show my wife. She's always the first one to hear them, and it's just really, really cool. And then at the same time, how we have all these people that are like, oh, can you post this one? Can you post a full version of this one? So most people don't know that, like, I'm still working, like, a full-time job, and it makes it difficult because, like, I get home, and I don't always have them, recorded. So I try to post, around 5 every day. So that gets a little hectic, sometimes, like, I don't know what I'm going to do, and, sometimes stuff just comes to mind, and sometimes not so much. And then for those of you that are following along on our journey, we also have a baby on the way, due in September, which is cool. So I make a lot of my content when I get home from the hours of like 4 p.m. and 5, and that's just kind of when it happens. And there are some times on the weekends where I sit down and I get some ready ideas put together, but a lot of times it's just I get home and all right, here we go. Let's see what we come up with today. Which in turn, I guess it shouldn't, but it does kind of put pressure on me because I'm like, everyone's consistent, and that's actually what I started doing. I was like, at one time I did want to try to grow it, and I heard someone say if you post every day consistently, it will grow. And that's kind of what I was, doing at the first, and then one just hit, and I guess it was correct. I don't I don't know. So there is, that kind of pressure, and the negative comments. I know most people just say, "Oh, just blow them off," but like, man, the negative comments can really get to you, because you be pouring your heart into some of this stuff and really trying to put something good out there, and I'm not gonna post something I'm not excited about. So when someone drops a negative comment, like, it does hurt, and like, why can't we just, like, as a society, just like, oh, and they love to say, oh, it's constructive criticism, like, bruh, no, just Becky, you're just being rude. Like, quit trying to mask it. The old, like, you can put lipstick on a pig. Like, geez, you're just like, bro, you just being it's constructive criticism. Like, no, it's not. It's you're just being a jerk. That's what it is. But I keep doing it, and I keep doing it because it's obviously turned into a ministry, and people love it. And one comment of "Don't ever stop doing this" beats out so many negative comments. Like, I had one today I read actually right before I started recording this. It's like, "Don't ever stop doing this." I was like, all right. And that's just so reassuring. That's just so reassuring. Like, for example, people see like a 30-second video, and they don't see your hours behind it. They don't see maybe the 20 failed takes, the blooper reels that are sitting there in my drafts. They don't see like when TikTok was going through all the copyright stuff. They don't see the issues with that, trying to find music that won't get muted. And then obviously there's the editing. I've gotten better at that, but and the lighting, and you just got to make sure all of that. They don't see that. They don't see you staying up late when you got to get to work the next morning. They don't see any of that. And the keyboard warriors come out and just really want to be just something negative. They just really feed off of that energy, and it does eat at you after a little bit. There's been some lessons that I've learned from this. Basically, go for it. Don't wait until you're ready. Like, if you have an idea and you're wanting to try it, do it. Go for it. Don't wait until you're ready. And don't stop. That's number 2. Most people quit on their dream too early, and don't do that. That's dangerous. If you like it, you got an idea, set your mind to it and keep going. Because the success, usually comes slower than you want it. Just like the blessings from God, that we've talked about on my lives and things like that. A lot of people ask, what's next? I don't know. I just keep it open for God, and whatever doors He comes up and opens, I walk through those. There's been cool opportunities as you guys have been following along. Got to open for John Crist, up and coming, Christian comedian. He was on Jimmy Fallon about a year ago, and that was really cool. Got to open up for him in OKC. And then 2 weeks later, dude was on Jimmy Fallon. I've had an interview air on the Daystar Network on the Talk Truth segment, which was really cool. I've had cool artists use my work, from Tracy Lawrence, Jason Aldean, Joe D. Messina, Alan Jackson. It's been an absolute blast. And then all of this has turned in, to also saving souls, which is so cool. Getting to share faith with all these people, and seeing someone get saved on TikTok Live is incredible. Is absolutely incredible. I'm trying to think of any kind of bloopers or anything. Oh, before I was doing like an interview on I believe they're called Christian Music Guys, and right before I was getting all my stuff set up, everything flipped over. I went to pull my chair up to where I usually DJ over there, and everything flipped over, and I was like, oh my goodness. Luckily I got everything together and ready to go, and was on time, but yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting. But I just wanted to come on here and just, share a little bit about me, get this thing kicked off. I'm excited about this podcast and see where it can go. And, man, if you guys have any ideas or somebody else try to get on here for an interview or anything, just hit me up, let me know, because I'm excited. Everybody sees the results, but very few people see the sacrifice. People see a viral video, and they don't see the years nobody cared, right? They don't see those, even like the videos in between. They don't see those videos that, I'm putting out there and, they're getting under 1,000 views. They don't see those. They just see the success and think, oh, yeah, he's got it. People see success. They don't see the failure. People see the dream. They don't see the nights that you almost quit. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this episode, from this first episode, it's don't let somebody else's time, how should I say this? Don't let somebody else's timeline convince you to quit your dream. Because the people you're comparing yourself to today may have simply started years before you did. So here's the question. What dream have you been talking yourself out of? And what dream have you been talking yourself out of because you think you're too late? I looked up the other day, Theo Von, he's like in his 40s. And I was like, okay. He just recently made, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, we started seeing Theo Von like real hot and heavy. So you're not too late. And what would happen if you finally just started anyway? You started that idea. You went with that dream. That would make worlds of difference. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I've been DJ Fat Dog. Man, if y'all would share this out, go check out the new TikToks I post daily. Thank you guys so much. Remember, next time you're on your knees praying and you think you don't have enough faith, you have more faith than you know because you're already on your knees praying. I've been DJ Fat Dog. Jesus loves you. I love you. DJ Fat Dog out.